the different chains and how we clean pipes. Okay. So the first thing is we have different types of chains and different styles. Okay. So the types of the chains we've got are at the bottom value, the cheap end. Okay. We have what we call a PVC chain. So the PVC chain is just literally stainless steel and nothing else. Okay. We call it PVC because that's not going to damage a plastic pipe. Okay. So that's why we have it, right? It's also the cheapest. And it's the one really that you probably want to start off when you start cleaning, because when you start cleaning generally the softer materials in the middle and it gets hard as you go out. Okay, so that's what we call a PVC chain. Pass it around. There's nothing on there. Then we have what we call our standard chain. So our standard chain, when you look at it, has carbide teeth on it, and it's a three cutting edges in the shape of a star. Okay, so that is our standard chain. Okay. Now I have used these inside a plastic pipe, right, without causing damage. Yeah. Well, what I do is I keep it moving. I never stop it in one place. As soon as you stop that in the place, it's going to start cutting into the pipe wall. Okay. But there'll be some cases where you'll get a build-up of scale at a joint, right? And it's generally a uranic scale or something hard. Yeah. Right. So sometimes the standard PVC chains will fold over it, right? So you just want something with a bit more power. So that's the standard chain, right? And I will use it, but you have to just keep it moving.
What about speed? Would you alter speed in any way?
No. I just want to keep it moving.
Okay.
If in doubt, keep it moving. So then, after the standard chain, we get now what we call the tiger range. Okay, so the tigers have carbide teeth.
Wow.
Yeah, but they have them in a different shape.
Sure.
Okay, and also, right, the tiger chains are equivalent and lighter than their equivalent original or standard chains or premium chains, right? So that weight difference has a big effect when you're using the M3, right? Because the M3 struggles to run the premium chains, right? Because they're too heavy, right, for that motor and the shaft, right? The Tiger chains are lighter and it will run.
So obviously it's a different chain. The density of something is different.
Yeah.
And why do you do that? You want to line
the Tiger chain.
What we want is he's got a different carbide, so different carbide material
Okay.
than our premium fits in. So it's longer wearing, but because of the way it's designed, it is actually lighter. Right?
So the chain itself is the same as the other
Yeah.
chains?
The chains
It's just the carbide?
Yeah, it's just the carbides that change and make the difference. But that is a big difference for an M3.
Okay.
Right, I'll tell you that now. Right, you can do stuff now with the Tigers which you wouldn't be able to do with the premium chains.
So when we sell these starter packages, starter cutting
Yeah.
packages, what actually comes with that?
I don't know actually.
Okay.
No, I'm saying that because I think they put a package purely. Spartan have their own package.
I think
Ice.
original and premium chains, I think,
Yeah, premium.
There's a bunch of stuff in them.
but not Tiger.
Yeah, we have a full breakdown.
You got Tiger in there for the M3?
I don't know offhand, but I do know where I can get a breakdown and send
Oh,
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that would
Yeah.
help.
Awesome.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll make a note.
Sometimes we're guessing on these things, and for that kind of money,
I love guessing. I love guessing.
Well, it would be such a guessing thing if they only have 1,000 different cutters.
Yes, right.
Don't tell me about it, mate. Tell me about it. What? Go on there.
There you go.
That's it. Okay, so that does make a difference with the M3, right? Then we've got
So on M3s, you would request a little bit lighter.
Tiger. I like the Tigers for the M3. I know that the M3 will run without a problem at the Tigers, right? And I have problems with it running the premiums, right? This will give you a good clue because that's our premium chain. So it has 7 cutting teeth on the carbide tooth. 7, right? This will munch away at concrete. It will munch away at failed liners, right? It will take really hard substances like wall, yeah? And they're good, right? But for the M3, that's quite heavy. Because you've just felt the Tiger,
Yeah, big
right?
difference.
And there's a big difference.
So, does on the carbides, the leading edge, does that wear any over time?
Yeah, it will go over time.
And does it matter if you were to change it, turn it around?
Turn it around. Turn it around. There's no problem.
Okay, you can do that to get
Yeah.
longer life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The issue we get with the chains is when Justin showed you how to set them up and measure them, right? With the chains can't open properly, right, or they open too much. Yeah. So generally, if they open up too much, you're going to get wear. It's too big for the pipe. It's going to wear, right, and the more aggressive the chain, the more aggressively it will fall. It falls apart. Yeah, they will cut themselves, right? So we can tell when we look at somebody's broke a chain and they say it's a faulty chain. We can have a look at it and we'll go straight away going, no, it wasn't faulty. You've just set that chain up incorrectly, right? Simple as that. We can tell if there is an issue with the chain because we can tell straight away by looking at the photographs they send, right? So a new chain that's never been used, right? Looks like that, nice and shiny, right? That will go a very, very dark coloured pitted surface, right? If that chain's been well used, right? So you can
So
tell
it's building up more heat
Right.
because of it being misused? No? Is it building up, if someone misuses it?
No, what it
Is
normally does, it tries to cut itself, or the chain rings will start to snap or break because they're fighting against each other.
You have too
Oh.
much slack,
Yeah, too much slack.
okay, I see.
Yeah, and the twist
so
and
the,
do all kinds
the
of
couplings
things.
are too close together.
Yeah. So, right, so that's the chains, right? That's the type, right, of chains that you get, right? So as we move down the chains that we've shown them, they've got more expensive,
Oh yeah.
right? Now, the style of chains is that's what we call an original chain. Okay? So generally, you want to run that on the leader, put that on the leader. Okay? And then we can set it up, right? And then all you're doing then is changing, just undo the leader, right? And then that's got on the leader. The other thing is, if you're working in the dark and you drop that on the floor in the garden somewhere, next to a manhole, right? That can be quite hard to find in the dark. Yeah, but if you've got it on a if you've got the leader, then we can find it. Yeah, if it's on the leader, you're going to find that in the dark,
Yeah.
right? You're not going to find that, right? And also, you end up sacrificing the shaft all the time because you've got all that bit there. You take that off, and you've got all this steel exposed, etc. If you're working, if you don't use leaders, which means you're cutting the shaft back, right? So earlier this year, I was over in Australia, and I must have seen 6 or 7 M4s, the Maxes, and they've all been shipped from Finland with 100 foot of shaft on there, right? And not one of them more than 40 foot, right? Because nobody had told them about leaders.
Oh my.
And that's trying to work out why we've got all these M4s over here, right? That people know buy the M4 for the range, but there's less than 50% of the shaft on.
Jesus.
I know. And I eventually found out because nobody had explained or done any work with him on leaders or stuff like that. And this little green light suddenly came on, and I, oh. Right, so normally you're going to go in because what you want to do is you want to clear as much of that pipe as possible, right, and restore at least 90% of the flow in the pipe. Right? Once we get to that 90% or close to the 90%, right, we can go move away from the original chains. And we can go to the cyclone chains. Now the cyclone chains, there's no adjustment here, right? If it's a 3-inch pipe, you use a 3-inch cyclone, right? You can't put a 4-inch cyclone into a 3-inch pipe. Right? Put a 3-inch into a 4-inch pipe, right? So these are designed to take that last 10%, right, finished on the pipe wall, right? So, and normally that's your hardest material, right? It's soft in the middle and it gets harder as you come out because obviously it's been there longer. It comes inwards, right? So we're going with the cyclone chains, okay? But you have to make sure that you've got 90% of the flow restored first. If you don't, this tries to open up and it can't open up.
Can't open up.
Therefore, then it starts cutting itself, and you'll lose
Right.
bits.
So I'm thinking, okay, you see, you gotta make sure you gotta have 90% of the flow.
Yeah.
How would you know, how would you measure that, or is it a dimensional thing? Are we gonna measure?
We just look at it.
Yeah,
You can just. It's a physical observation. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Right. Hopefully, most people can get that bit.
alright.
Right. But there's a difference between 90% and then 70% and 50%. If you're with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone tried to go in at 50% and use these. It doesn't happen. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So they're like the finishing off ones. And again, we have the usual, the usual
You got it on the other end.
styles. We get the usual styles, right? And certainly, the tiger chains are a lot lighter. The tiger cyclones are a lot lighter than the premium cyclones.
Yeah.
So again, this is where again you'd run them on the M3 because they're just so different.
I just sold 2 M